welcome to Hillbilly Herpetology. I'm Webb, this is Buck, and today we're going to be talking about supplements for your animals. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive here. We'll talk about different supplements to use for different animals, when it's okay to not use these supplements, and maybe talking about getting on a regiment where you're making sure you're doing it on the same days every week so that way you can remember to do it. And we'll talk about why it's important to do it and what will happen if you don't. And so that's the video today, supplementation of your animals. Okay, so what we're here to talk about today is supplementation. Now, the reason that we're doing this video is someone very close to me that I consider to mentor when it comes to the hobby said, you know, I knew about the calcium, but I had never seen anywhere about the vitamins. And he said, I think you should do a video about supplementation. So that's why we're here. Supplements. We're talking about vitamins, we're talking about calcium powder, and we're talking about D3. What are these things? Calcium powder. Calcium powder is just going to be calcium that is in powder form, and I believe it's called calcium carbonate, but let me just make sure. Yeah, precipitated calcium carbonate. So it's just a calcium supplement that you put onto the food of your animals, so that way it's getting the necessary calcium that it needs to build bone. Which leads us into the next part of what are these three things. We talked about the calcium, that's pretty easy. What is D3? D3 is the compound that your body needs to convert calcium into bone mass, or scale mass if you're a tortoise and you got a big shell. So the way that this works usually with us, okay, if we go outside, the sun is providing us with the essential nutrients that we need to convert calcium into bone. But with our animals, we keep them inside of an enclosure. We can provide UV light, but the thing with that is they're not all that they need. If you take a meter and put it underneath of a UV bulb, you're gonna see that whatever this thing's advertised to be, it's not it. They say, I forget the exact number, but something like 20 minutes of natural sunshine for your animal is the same as, it's something ridiculous, like a whole month of being underneath a UV light, something like that. It's insanely ridiculous. So that just lets you know that the light is a good tool to have to help, but that it's not everything they need, and that's where the D3 comes in. So you have supplements that have the D3 in them, and then you have supplements that don't have the D3 in them. The reason for that is because D3, just like any other vitamin or mineral, you can overdose on. So you don't want to be giving your animal calcium with D3 every single day. So you'll have calcium without D3, and you'll have calcium with D3. Or if you prefer, since most people are going to be using calcium for every feeding, you're going to want to put the D3 in your vitamins, so that way twice a week, 3 times a week, when you throw the vitamins on their food, they're also getting the D3. And since they need the D3 around the same amount of times a week as they need the vitamins, that usually works out really well for people to just get the D3 in with the vitamins and then have calcium without D3. And then you only have to have 2 supplements instead of the 3 that I have. I have the 3 for a reason though. So, first things first here, Panera, you should sponsor us. We're using your lovely video here. Nice plug for Panera, or your lovely video, your lovely paper cup in our video. Yes, we make these at work. So, what we have here, calcium without vitamin D3, without. Now, I don't get too hung up on the brands that I use. You can see here I've got Zoomed. Here's Flukers. Here, Exoterra. Literally 3 different brands. The brand, whatever you prefer to use, honestly. So this is the multivitamin supplement. This is calcium with D3. This is calcium without D3. Like I said, you can totally cut the calcium with D3 out just by getting the multivitamin with D3 in it. I use all three just because. I guess that's just how I am. But anyway, what I like to do, I have separate cups, and I'll pre-mix this stuff. I'll take and I'll make a calcium without D3 and vitamin, and the ratio that I use is more for me kind of like a color thing. I put the vitamins in there, and I kind of just, from a long time of doing it, kind of like look at it. It's going to be much more calcium than vitamin. And then I'll do just a calcium. And as long as you're keeping this stuff covered up, it's good. So then I've already got my, for the week, let's say, I've already got the supplements that I need ready. If I need vitamins, I'll use the vitamin calcium. If I need calcium, I'll just use the regular calcium. And I messed up when I was doing the video, guys. I should have put this calcium in here, and I use this calcium for both. But you use the D3 calcium with the vitamins, so that way you know you're only doing this one twice in the week, and then this is for every other day. And then what I would do is I would just take what I'm going to be feeding, put it into the vitamin and supplement mixture. I'll get them nice and covered. And then they just come out from being dusted. Usually what I do is I'll use a pair of tweezers, my long tweezers, so that way, or my tongs I guess they're called, so that way they're not all dusty, like the extra dust that you see going in. And that just saves me money in the long run because I'm not wasting dust by it going in the bottom. So as you can see, the coating of the dust supplement just kind of stays on the prey for these animals. You can use this with lettuce. You can use this, like if you have an iguana that's just eating mostly greens, you can use this powder supplement for them too, just on their greens. But very important that they have this. Now, let's talk about why you need to be doing this. So, there is something called metabolic bone disease. That is a disease reptiles can get pretty much across the board. This is going to be from not being able to convert, either A, not getting the calcium to convert, or B, not getting enough D3 and UVB to convert the calcium into bone. What happens is your animal's bones are flimsy, so they can't walk properly. A lot of times their jaws will be floppy, so they can't eat properly. This is definitely an animal killer. You don't want that to happen. The vitamins, it's kind of like with your child, okay? You give your child a Flintstone vitamin every day because you know that if they have that vitamin, they have a way higher chance of getting higher brain cognitive function, of being in a higher percentile in their weight and growth rate, just in general of being in a higher percentile of health. Same thing goes with your reptiles. If you don't have the multivitamin, your reptile might not die from them not having that. Is it reaching its maximum size length? No. Is it robust in health? No. They're okay. But to get them to that next level, to that perfection, that shine, that sheen, when people see this animal, it just has a glow about it. That's what the multivitamins are for. Now, you say, well, I don't have to feed a multivitamin to, let's say, my rat, even though they make them, you can put it in their water bottle. But it's not necessary. The reason for that is, we just picked this up for the Dagoos today. I got tired of just feeding them grass and hay and thought maybe they could use something different. And the reason for that is this has the vitamins and everything else already in it. I used to work at a feed mill where we made food for chickens, and we would get these huge shipments in of pallets and pallets of different vitamins and supplements that we put into the chicken feed when they were mixing it with the corn, with the soybean, with the meat and bone, all these other ingredients that go into making a complete diet. With our reptiles, we're not ever able to get that complete diet because we're feeding them other animals. We're feeding them not something that's made in a complete diet already. So it becomes necessary for us to supplement them. And that's why supplementation is so important for your animals. This is something in the comments below. You guys got questions about this? Ask me. This is something that's really important and imperative to your animals and that you really need to be able to understand. So do your research, ask questions, comment down below. I want to hear from you guys your horror stories of being a beginner, not knowing exactly what you're doing and what has come out of that, what you learned from that, and how you progressed as a keeper to become better. Because maybe your story in the comments can help other people that are watching this video understand why supplementation is so important and why they should be doing it. That's all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and get stuck.